So let's talk about what happens when you get really lean. Woke up at the same weight that I was on Tuesday, but I feel leaner. So I need to send my photos to Steve before we go do cardios. I feel like I have my life together because my socks match. So it's Friday morning, 1 week out from my show. I had to send Steve my check-ins today. I have a refeed, mini refeed. It's not like a massive refeed, it's just rice with each meal and oatmeal in the morning. And I'm probably gonna have to send him photos checking in the day after, but just got some of my cardio done. I kicked out my fasted cardio and then actually continued on to do some of my, what I'm supposed to do is my post-workout cardio. So I was feeling pretty good. Really good. My legs were really sore at the beginning, but the tip, guys, is you just have to get through the first like 8 minutes. Whether you're doing HIIT or any other type of cardio, you just have to get through the first 8 minutes. That's like a good, I guess, baseline. Because the first, especially like after a leg day, so I did legs yesterday, and so your legs are really, really sore, but then you start breathing really, really heavy, and before the sweat kicks in. That's the hardest part. And then once you get sweating and you get into it, listening to music, watching whatever, then it becomes pretty like mindless, pretty easy. Even if you're doing HIIT. I mean, sprints are a little different, but still, once you get through that initial part, you're solid. So we're gonna go home and I'll show you guys what I made. I attempted something today. I don't know how it's gonna go, how it's gonna taste, but I'll show you. So this is what we got. Guys, I'm sad because this isn't as good as I want it to be. I didn't try it yet, but this is overnight oats, my attempt anywho. Sad. Overnight oats are supposed to be made with rolled oats instead of quick oats, so this is my first time attempting. And then I can't use like almond milk or yogurt or chia seeds or any of that, so I just put water. Actually, no, I put peppermint chocolate coffee in it. Then I put barley and superfoods, my greens, my micronutrients in it, and then I also put a little bit of syrup on top. So I haven't tried it yet, but this is the first go. It's kind of watery. I was hoping it would be really not soupy, but I mean, it's good. It's really good. It just kind of depends on how you feel about cold oatmeal, I guess. I'm gonna eat this and then I'm gonna talk to you guys about getting shredded. So guys, now I want to address the topic of what happens when you get really lean. What you should expect, what you should know if this is your goals. Like, there's a difference between stage lean and just regular old lean, but if you are a competitor and you've never competed before, when you do get really lean, you should know what to expect so that you don't, one, feel like a crazy person, and two, you'll kind of be like, okay, this makes more sense, just being self-aware, like, I must just be getting really lean. But pro tip, I'm not giving you room to make excuses for yourself. You can control your mind and you can control your emotions. It takes a lot of effort, but it's very possible, and this is something that I work on literally every single day, and it so greatly affects my prep in a good way. It makes it so much more enjoyable, and if this is something that you want to do long term or even short term, maybe for like a year or 2 years, this is definitely something to keep in mind, because you gotta keep control of your mind, otherwise prep is just miserable and it's not fun, and you should not be prepping or doing shows if it's not fun. Okay, so let's get into it. So what happens when you get really, really lean? all that means is that your body fat is getting gradually lower because you're in prep. Most of the time you are decreasing calories over time, you're increasing cardio over time, and keeping lifting intensity just as high. So as that happens, naturally your body fat will decrease, and ideally you get to a stage weight, a stage lean level. For me, my stage leanness has varied, and I'll pop some photos in. My first show I was super freaking lean, but I was also very unhealthy on my way to during that prep. I was very stressed, very sleep deprived, no calories. Like, I had prepped myself and I was like, I can't eat any food, so I was eating like, I don't know, like 1,200 calories to start my prep, which was not a good place to start, but that's a whole nother topic. So I was super lean. I was probably like 10%, maybe 11% body fat at that point, maybe lower. Like, I think it was at like 12 weeks out, I got my body fat tested with the calipers, and I was 11% body fat. So I was naturally, I had all of the symptoms that I'm going to talk about of being lean. And then my second show, I was certainly not as lean. I was at a much softer look. I was really focused on trying to gain weight, or at least put on some quality size, because I was a little string bean when I started prep. So then I have no idea what my body fat was, probably somewhere closer to like 13. I have no idea. But right now, as of like 4 weeks ago, I did a little test, and those things honestly aren't accurate. These tests always vary, but it at least gives you kind of a gauge, and you can kind of know where your body's at. So that test told me, the little hand test 4 weeks ago told me I was 12.4% body fat. So if I were to probably do that again, I would probably be somewhere closer to 10.5 or 11 right now. Because the way you can tell depends on genetics, but you can start to see, like, can't really see it right now, you can start to see like shoulder details and cuts and like striations, maybe like in your chest or in your abs. You can see my abs right now, and I am one who never has abs, ever. My abs never show. So, and last show my abs didn't pop until literally the morning of my show. But this time they kind of came out to play a little bit earlier, so I know my body fat's a little bit lower. I'm getting leaner a lot faster. But so back to the topic, I apologize. So basically I'm just kind of letting you know that I'm really lean right now. I'm experiencing a lot of these things myself. And so this is kind of my experience, but also a few other things that I've seen from other people. So when you get really lean, first of all, you're going to be hungry all the time. And this is more of like we'll say it comes in phases, but leading up to the show, you can eat a meal and be honestly more hungry after you eat. Drink an ton of water with every meal. That helps. And then really just do something to distract your mind, because at this level your body's just like trying to, we'll say survive, it sounds really bad, but your body's trying to survive, so it's going to eat up everything that you put in it and be like, give me more, give me more. So you're going to be more hungry right after you eat. And that's kind of consistent for the last 3 weeks of prep. And then at some point you just kind of accept it, and that's where the mindset thing comes in. You gotta accept that you're gonna be hungry, but it's gonna be okay. And you just gotta drink a lot of water, drink BCAAs, lots of different ways to mitigate your hunger, gum. But that should only be like towards the end of your prep. So if you're like starting your prep and you're starving, maybe you weren't quite ready for a prep where your calories are too low. But varies person to person. That's the first thing. Second thing is you're going to be friggin' super cold all the time. Super cold. So I've never met somebody who gets really lean and is hot often. So you'll be really cold all the time, and most people think that that's just because your body fat's low. It's also because your blood pressure drops when your body fat is this low, because your body's trying to keep you alive. So it's trying to use less energy to pump blood throughout your body, so the blood pressure is lower. So that is why you are cold all the time. So it's about usually 75 degrees or so in where I am, and I walk around with usually like a long sleeve, a sweater, and a vest and pants. That's another thing that you just kind of get used to. Super cold. Things that are not quite so physical, you end up getting very irritable. Most people So this is where self-awareness is absolutely key, absolutely crucial, because you don't want a prep to affect your relationships or your livelihood. You want to mitigate that as much as possible. So just being aware of your triggers, of when you're starting to get more irritable and when it kind of feels like you're like, so just be sure you're getting your meals in on time. Be sure you're certain you're getting the same amount of sleep every night. That is a huge priority. Huge, huge, huge. Otherwise, you're going to just screw yourself over. It's going to be really hard to get your lifts in. You're going to be angry at everybody and snap at everybody. So what I do as of this prep is I recognize when I start to build and get more and more tensious on the edge, and I tell Brian, I'm like, I'm getting really irritable, I'm really hungry, I need to either eat or take a nap, I'm starting to get more irritable, just so that he knows, because then if I snap by accident, which usually I'm pretty good about it, but if I snap, he knows it's not him, it's me, I'm frustrated, or I'm tired, or whatever. Last two things, you'll probably lose your period or it'll be off. I haven't had mine for 2 years, and that's a completely another different topic. I'm going to be working my way back to fixing that. Off season, taking a long off season, we'll talk about that later. Loss of period, and then your hair can thin. That's why you really have to be on point with your getting your supplements that you aren't getting from your food. I can get more into that too. But your hair might thin, and those are the other physical things. But you just have to be aware and know what's coming, so you don't feel like a crazy person or like you're gonna die or anything like that. You're fine. This is short term. For the most part, other things, I mean, for the most part, those are the main big things that happen when you get really lean. I mean, other things, you will get really addicted to how you look. So the best advice I can give is be aware that you're getting addicted to that. Be super aware, be very grateful, have gratitude that you are looking good. Really be proud of yourself, appreciate it, but be very prepared that, and know, especially if this is your first show, this is not sustainable. Once you get past a certain body fat point, things in life get really uncomfortable. You get really food focused, hungry, irritable, and you don't want to be like that year round. Like, so recognize that you don't want to be like that year round, and that helps because you can appreciate where you're at and be very happy for yourself and proud of yourself, but don't get so attached to it, because this does not last. Like, you can, that's not to say, I'll do a whole different sneak peek background. I'm gonna do a whole series on coming off of prep. So that's the best advice I can give to you, is just be prepared for this to fade away, be very appreciative, very grateful, and love yourself in every season. And you gotta figure out a way to do that for you, and it takes time. So hopefully watching my journey is gonna help you on yours, especially if you're coming off of a show. It can be really, really hard, but just take time to really appreciate where you're at, be grateful, and be proud of yourself. So these are the things, some of the things that happen when you get really lean. Be prepared. Still get excited for your show. That's key. You gotta keep your mindset there. I'm super amped. My energy is super high because I'm so amped, or vice versa. Maybe I'm amped because my energy is high. I don't know. But these things are gonna get you to your show and keep you happy along the way. 7 days out. I'll see you guys soon. I'm gonna do hopefully a vlog every day or every other day during peak week, which starts tomorrow. Ah! So excited! So I'm gonna go eat my breakfast, first meal, refeed, and I will see you guys tomorrow. If you liked this video, please like and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Hopefully this helps you out and gets you ready. So leave a comment below, let me know what you thought. If you want me to expand upon anything, I'd be so happy to. I love getting comments and questions and opinions and feedback.